Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. This is episode 8, and maybe the last episode for the season for now, of tracking my progress with Apex Trader funding, of becoming funded, trying to stay funded, and trying to earn some payouts along the way. It's been a very interesting experience this time around, and although the series is temporarily coming to an end, I'm super grateful for what I've taken from it, and hopefully the next time around it will be a lot better. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and just a reminder that trading can be hard, so please give yourself some grace. This is what you can expect from the past videos within the series, as well as this episode. And then for the future ones to come, if they do, it will probably include the same content because I have found that this type of video journal diary series was super beneficial for me, and hopefully it was beneficial for you guys. So let's get into it. So I did start off the morning green, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, because there was opportunity. But the part that really is a bit sore is when I decided to keep on trading more when I didn't really need to. There's a few things that came from this decision to keep on trading. The first reason behind me wanting to keep on trading is I knew that my first payout request would be denied because my consistency score on these accounts was not met. I was above that 30%, so I wanted to go ahead and keep on trading. I did the calculations and I was up about like 8%. So with the calculations and understanding this, I wanted to keep trading ability account balance profits to meet the correct number in order to take that first payout and know that I will actually be approved. Because from the other past days of trading, I was consistent with everything else for the most part, that this was the only thing. It was the realized losses and realized gains on the account that would actually impact the approval. So that's the first thing. The second thing is over the course of the last few days, I've been getting sick. I've said it on stream and I've said it in the past videos, but just it's been ever so slightly getting worse and worse until Wednesday. I start to feel really bad. I had to take a lot of medicine, and then also yesterday, Thursday, the day of losing these accounts on the 4th, I took some medicine too. So I took the day off of streaming, and honestly, maybe I should have just not traded as well, but I did trade, and just the judgment, the perspective, the way that I was trading off of me being sick was just not a smart idea. And I've done this before to myself where I knew I should not have traded when I'm sick, but I did anyways. So there's that. And then the final piece was because the last few days there's been a lot of opportunities in the charts, and knowing where we were with higher time frame and the lower time frame, I had just a hunch that maybe would have more opportunity to trade. And as the morning went on, as you can see by the picture, it started to get a bit choppy where there was only about two, maybe three really good trades that I could have taken, instead of the four, five, six that I've taken before. So with all that being said, I think that was some huge reasons to why I decided to keep on trading. But now let's talk about the actual trading activity of what I saw in the charts, and then where I started to really falter and lose my accounts. So supply and demand on the higher time frame and lower time frame was there, but I did end up trading during the chop as well, and that's the part where I ended up losing the accounts. So I am going to deep dive in this. So first I want to say I am still sick, so I apologize in advance if I sound crazy. And then the second thing is the day that I lost my account was the 4th. Today's the 5th. I had to give myself the day to really recoup and mentally and emotionally recharge, because losing these accounts amongst being sick and other things, it was just a really hard day. So I needed to give myself that time to get myself together so I can actually record this in one piece. So higher time frame, this is a 4-hour supply over the last 2 days of trading, the second and the third. It was respected, so I was kind of anticipating the same thing, because for the first or second, sometimes the third time into a higher time frame zone, we could still expect some type of rejection or reversal. So I think this is the third time now of an actual push all the way through, expecting some type of bearish reaction. So we had that push up before market opened. I saw this new 5-minute supply created within the 4-hour supply. So at the close of this bullish candle here, I wanted to see a push up and then a nice closure lower. So I did participate into this short opportunity. And then when market opened, we actually did have value important in to reject off the H4, so took another little piece of that pie there. As we started to pull down, this black line is actually from a previous 5-minute demand, as well as this black line here too, these two horizontal ones. So as price finally started to push into it, I wanted to see a reaction off of it. I tried to take a long stab off of this position or this line, and when we finally came up here and closed bullish, I'm like, okay, entering the long, try to target, took it back into the H4, took a loss there. That's fine. So then fast forward into the rest of the day. Took a few losing trades here on micros, but nothing crazy. And then right here, when we had this candle, so we had a black bearish candle with a bullish spike into that demand with a bullish closure. I took a long here, and this is where I actually entered for a mini. And with the mini, it's a 1-to-1, right? So the stop would be below the wick, and then the TP would be 1-to-1 from where my entry was. And when this was happening, I should have honestly trailed my stop loss as it was moving higher because of the clear kind of bearish reaction we were having. And we didn't have the best full pull into this, although I will, and it's not the best demand set up here within the 5-minute demand too, but I will say that it does follow my strategy as far as like if we look at the old demand that was on the left side of the chart, it does follow it. So, it made sense for me to enter. However, taking the mini with a not so confident A plus setup was not a smart idea. So my risk management there, I would say confidently, it was very poor. So entered onto a mini, didn't trail it. Instead, I took it down for a loss. I don't think I had hit the full T or stop loss. I can't recall, but I did take a loss for sure. And that's where the day turned sourly red. And from here, I started to enter this panic mode because one, I was already green on the day, so I could have, walked away. So I'm already beating myself for that. Two, I was already at payout threshold, and now I'm making it that much harder for myself to actually secure that payout because of this silly, it's not really a silly mistake if I'm following my strategy, but a risk management mistake, and I should have known better and done better there. So those two thoughts were kind of running through my mind, and I started to panic a little bit. So this happened, right? We got stopped out and we finally pulled all the way into here. So I'm like, okay, I like this. Gonna wait for a bullish closure. We didn't get the full wick rejection. I'm sorry, the full rejection of the previous demand wick on the 5 on the left of the chart. So once we had a bullish closure, that to me was signaling this is a bullish move back up. So I took a long, but I didn't take it off minis. I only took it on micros. So the loss from the prior trade was nowhere near like break even anymore. I was still in the red on the day. So took that trade, boom, nice little 1-to-1. Nothing crazy with micros. I don't feel any stress with micros. And then I wanted to see if we could reclaim the EMA on the 5-minute. So as we started to push up, we had a bullish closure above, and I like this new 5-minute demand and bull flag that was created. So I wanted to see a retap back in. So we had a retap right here, and this was not deep enough of a retracement. I should have genuinely waited for this move right here. So I did take the first trade right here, thinking that this was a good enough kind of pullback, especially with where we kind of bounced off of. And essentially, it didn't hit my full TP. It came just short of my TP level I wanted, which is right here above the other kind of drop-based drop. Came short of it, came back down, got a loss from that too. Then when we finally that's because I also traded my stop very tight. I didn't want to lose more. But anyways, got stopped out there for no profits, for a loss, and then re-entered again as we started to create this rally-based rally. Entered again, stop right here, trying to target a 1-to-1, didn't get it, got stopped out. Then at this point, okay, I literally have to wait because if I don't wait, I'm going to end up losing my accounts. So ended up getting a nice like deeper pull into the actual demand, and then we had a bullish closure. Then I took a 1-to-1 here with the stop right below this previous candle. Took that for a nice little 1-to-1 there, roughly, and then continue to trade after in this chop right here. So within the span of, I'll call this like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 35 minutes. Within the span of 35 minutes right here, I just was getting chopped up left and right, just left and right. It was ridiculous how much trades I was putting down. I don't even know how many trades I put down. It had to be at least a total for the day, at least a minimum of like 30 trades. And that is tough, going from trying to limit the amount of trades, and given that like those 30 minimum trades I'm thinking that I placed doesn't include me scaling into positions too. So it was just all over the place. I was jumping desperately into micros and minis at this point, and I went from my normal consistent one mini to like three minis, and then my micros from my normal consistent two to four to now I was going to like 10 to 20, and I was just all over the place. So I just kept trading for that 35 minutes. I couldn't find the patience within myself to just stop and take my hand off the mouse. At one point, from all the trades I placed before I lost the accounts, I think I had roughly like 15 to $1,700 of drawdown still left, which is still a lot of drawdown. That's still a lot that I can work off of to build back up. But I didn't process that in the moment, and I just kept trading silly and stupid, and ended up blowing the accounts, as you can see. So yeah, the last thing I'll say when it comes to the setups of December 4th was, I didn't take this because I think I had already, I know I lost the accounts right before this, but we had the drop that pulled into where we had a little gap. If you remember my video from the day prior, of my trade where I took a long position off of a previous demand, there was a tiny little gap from where the entry of my setup was. There's a tiny little gap there. You can go back in your chart and take a look too. But essentially, we came back and we filled that to the T, and then we came right back up. So, yeah, the demand held well from the previous day from that other entry, the one that, so this is a demand, and there was another demand before that. So that other demand below it right here, it held pretty well after we had a little wick, and then just it kept going back up after that. So yeah, it was quite a day, and overall I feel genuinely like defeated from the fourth. I really needed that time for myself. I just was I was so sad. It's not that I'm angry or completely flustered and frustrated with myself. It's more of, maybe it's a synonym, but like being disappointed, and again, just feeling really sad about what happened. I know 100% it's my fault, and I take accountability for it. I'm responsible for what happens in my journey. And although posting on social media does impact me in a lot of ways when it comes to my trading, and this is a joke, but like sometimes, it creates bad juju when I post my good things online. Um, at the end of the day, it's a me thing, right? It's an internal trader area of weakness and improvement that needs to be focused on, and I need to get better at that if I want to be able to get to that next level. So I think that this series was really great with highlighting some of the wins that I had, and highlighting some major lessons that I need to continue to build on, and areas of weakness that I need to build on. But ultimately, even though I lost these accounts, and trust, like I went through it yesterday, the fourth, I was going through it. I feel better today, and with my mind a little bit better on my shoulders as far as what my next steps are with trading specifically. I still have belief in myself that I can do it. 2025 may not have been the year for me to break my own personal apex numbers and, be able to handle all of these accounts, but it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for me. I do think that I can get back on the horse and do better from this. So, yeah, just trying to keep my chin up as best as possible. So here is the accounts. All of the accounts are gone, all 20. So yeah, I lost the six first because I was still at intraday trailing drawdown, and then I ended up losing the other 14 later on in the later in the morning. So yeah, it is what it is. So to kind of summarize what happened, there's still a clear rejection from the H4 supply, bearish reaction for the official third time, and nice bounce off of previous demand and support. Um, Follow the first trades as I explained, and then I did secure Green Day roughly like $200-ish, but then I kept trading the moves after because I wanted to grow the account buffer. Again, I explained everything just a few minutes ago. But I knew that my first payouts would be denied due to my consistency rule, but I was 100% not trying to boom and bust my accounts. I'm not out here trying to, grow at 10K just to lose 10K. I genuinely wanted to take out a payout, my first payout at least, as soon as I knew that I was going to be approved. And the only thing that would keep me from being approved was just that consistency rule. So I would have to just make a little bit more profit in my account to be able to meet the 30%. But I obviously didn't meet it. And even with me walking away that day, if even if I like locked in the $200, I would have still needed to continue to trade for a little bit more profits as the days went on, because the consistency was at like 38, 39%. So yeah, really big bummer. But all I can do now is really try to learn from this lesson and try to let that lesson stick with me as I move into my next set of Apex accounts. So the game plan, although the series is over, the game plan will always stay the same moving forward, which is stop loss TP too wide. I got to scale to micros. Scale into positions is fine, but limit my amount of trades per day and get back into the it's boring mind, because when I was in that kind of mindset, it really detached me from my profits and detached me from what my account balances were and really detached me from how far along I was with my payouts. So I got to get back into that mindset again. Right now, I can say a day after me losing these accounts, it's the fifth today. I don't feel like I'm fully in the it's boring mindset yet. I think I'll probably need this weekend to really, really resettle, just because it still feels a little bit fresh and I want to get back to being funded with Apex. So, yeah, I did trade this morning with Apex accounts. I did pass a few, but I'm not sure, like I said, if I'm going to continue the series until I'm ready to, when I'm fully resettled, I suppose. But I'm probably going to do similar videos like this where I talk about my psychology, I talk about my setups, and I talk about kind of how things are going. So, yeah, game plan, give this another shot. Just because I lost it this time doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Losing prop firm accounts are a part of the game, and I just need to get better at playing this game. So, desired outcome, become funded with Apex again. And this time around as well, when I get to my funded stage, limit to 5 trades max per account, regardless of how many opportunities there are. And more importantly, I think I need to add on this that I need to keep my risk management at like the micro level. Even though I was doing one mini, I think that's fine in some cases, but with me having that jump into I need to build this account balance, that clearly motivated me to enter minis versus staying on the micros. So I might have to add that onto my desired outcome. Statement, I'm going to say for myself, like I've done before, I can trade. I am trading good. I will become funded to get paid out. I am funded and I am getting paid out. I have a strategy that I will follow. I have a strategy that I am following. Area of improvement, don't enable myself to spiral. Don't allow the action of me posting online impact how I trade. Focus on my lane and focus on my journey. This was interesting. I posted on Twitter actually the fourth, the day of me losing these accounts, this picture as well as the picture of, you get the email from Apex saying you lost all the accounts. I posted that, and majority of the feedback I received was pretty supportive. Some more direct, some more like, fluffy with soft words and whatnot. And overall, like, it was really nice. And of course, there's those few that are just going to be like straight up saying either some silly things or not knowing the full story, and like obviously they probably didn't watch these videos leading up to this moment of me like actually trading decently and then just having a 1 day explosion. So it was like it was majority really, really supportive, and then the few that were not as supportive. But I'm trying not to also let that part of social media impact me, because I know I post on YouTube, and I read comments from YouTube and streaming, but also on Twitter. It's kind of a bit of a different beast over there, I would say, because some people really don't care. It's like straight up keyboard warriors, unless they're like supportive traders that get it. So try not to let that impact me too much, and just try to keep my head down and continue to stay humble, continue to grind, and continue to do the best that I can, even though it's hard. It's sometimes it's easier to try to act calm on camera, but behind closed doors, when the camera is off, like, I feel defeated inside. And I know a lot of you can relate to that, but then when you have like thousands and thousands of eyes looking at you and picking apart all the things you do and saying certain things like that can also impact the person you see online as well as the person that you don't see behind closed doors when the camera's off. So doing my best to just focus on myself and keep my chin up as best as I can. So um, remember to stick with micros on volatile days and when emotion creeps in. And then for API limits, that stuff is still quite interesting. Now that I don't have 20 accounts anymore, I won't have to worry about that. But yeah, for the new set that I do have, I will have to worry about it. And then area of improvement for the fourth, traded more than I should have because a part of it was really just chasing more buffer since I was above the required safety net. Area of strength, the one thing I will say for myself that I'm proud of, that I can give myself flowers for, is I did take the whole day to kind of recompress and figure out my next steps. And then most importantly, I didn't go into a full revenge cycle of buying more accounts the same day, the same moment I blew my accounts up to try to revenge trade. That's huge, because it's easy to go through that kind of pit and then throw yourself in the fire to try to pass again. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that, and that's the main flowers I'll give myself. So that's a wrap up on the series. And if you didn't know, Apex did actually officially surpass $600 million paid out to traders. That's absolutely mind boggling to me. I don't know the milestones of other firms that are this high. So good on Apex for being able to pay out so many people. So because of this huge milestone, this accomplishment, they've launched a new sale. It's 60% off all evaluation accounts every month. $6 lifetime PA fee for all funded accounts once you pass, which is the lowest lifetime PA fee they've ever had. $60 resets and then 1 day pass. So for the resets, if you were to do the math to give you a quick breakdown, all of the accounts on the website right now are $196. If you do 196 with the 60% off, that's roughly I think $78 or $79. So let's say you blow your account, instead of, wanting to buy another account for 60% off, the reset is only $60, so you are saving a little bit more if you do need a reset. So in this case, I think that the reset is good for all account sizes. Before in the past videos, I've told you guys specifically that the resets were only good for larger accounts, because if you look at the amount that you pay for an eval with the discount versus the reset, it made more sense at that time. But now that the cost for all accounts are the same, the $60 reset is a much better price for any account size at this point. And then 1 day pass, you already know how it goes. So this is going to be live up until December 9th, which is next Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to end. And I appreciate y'all if you do end up using my code Jesse. I will use those those commissions to buy new accounts. Let's be real here. No, but for real, I really appreciate you guys for using my code, and most importantly for just sticking with me through my journey. I know that it could be annoying maybe watching someone that you have followed for however long you've been following me, not get to their goals, and whether it's because you want them to, or it's motivation, or maybe you don't want them to, whatever the case may be. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me through it, whether I'm winning or I'm losing. It actually means a lot. So thank you guys so much, and you guys know that I'm rooting for you from afar. I wish you guys nothing but the best and the most success in all that you do, and I will see you all in the next video.